A warm welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Now we're delving back into the area of contact wash shampoos. And I think I may have found something upon your recommendations in the comments that may be of interest. So this is A-Chem Cherry Burst Car Shampoo. This product cost me £7.19 for 5 litres, but you've got to add VAT on the top of that, so it's £8.63 roughly, isn't it? If you add 23%, that's the calculation that I've come to. £8.63p for 5 litres of shampoo. That's phenomenally cheap. Now, what do we know about shampoos is that the concentrations can vary. So perhaps this A-Chem Cherry Burst shampoo is cheap because it's low concentration. Think again, it's not. So the dilution ratios of this particular product are use 10 to 50 ml of Cherry Burst car shampoo in an empty bucket with a grit guard, which generally means a detailing bucket, which is what I've used it in. And so my standard is a bucket, about 15 litres gets you way over halfway. So that's my kind of, when they don't give me a top end ratio, that's what I use. So we can use 10 to 50 millilitres, a range to 15,000 millilitres or 15 litres. So let's just go in and do our due diligence on price. So if you use 10 millilitres, and I'll tell you how it performs at these different costs. If you use 10 millilitres in your bucket, that gives you a usage ratio of 1 to 1500, the maximum. So that's its most dilutable. That's a high concentrate. We know we can go up to 1 to 2000. We haven't seen beyond that. Your cost per wash is 1.7p if you use it at that ratio. Its most diluted ratio, the higher end, we use 50 ml to 15 litres. That works out at 1 to 300. But it still only gives you a cost per wash of 8.6p. To give you a rough market average, you're probably nowadays looking at about 30 to 40p cost per wash with your kind of average detailing brand bottle of shampoo that's non-bulk. You know, that's just a quick market average. We're going to give you better data. Its mid-range would be 30 ml, which will give you a cost per wash of around 5.2p. Now, next to it here, I have the A-Chem 1900 to 1 automotive shampoo. Both smell of cherry, both really rich smelling chemicals, both thick gels as well. The A-Chem product costs £33 for 5,000 ml, which roughly at 1 to 1900, its ratio, you use 7.9 ml in a 15 litre bucket, which gives you a cost per wash of £5.21p. Apologies if I've got any of this data incorrect, but you can pull me up on that. It looks roughly about right. So it gives you £5.2p cost per wash. So the A-Chem can be significantly cheaper than the A-Chem when we just do their normal retail prices. But we'll come back to this in a second. Next up, another shampoo which I think comes second or third in my automotive best of shampoos was the Built Hamber Auto Wash. This isn't its stock bottle. I rebottle it. Don't ask me why. I just like to. I like to dose it out with this thing. It's all nice and tidy. I like it. Now this shampoo, its biggest offering is 1 litre on the website, and it's a 1 to 2000. So again, you'd use 7.5 ml to 15 litres. Which gives you a cost per wash of 20.3p, which is, well, it's about 4 times the cost per wash of the mid-range of this. But that is actually a very, very good cost per wash comparatively. It's a cheaper one of the shampoos price-wise. So the point I'm getting with this shampoo here, this A-Chem Cherry Burst, is the price point is absolutely incredible. To go and buy it for £8.63 for 5 litres is incredible. We know there are detailing brands where the cost per wash goes up to like £2.50. It could cost you like 20 quid for 500 ml of shampoo that isn't even as concentrated as this. So this is really hacking your way to probably the cheapest price you're ever going to get for an automotive shampoo. So there's our opening gambit on all of that. It's important to say that the Cherry Burst is a pure shampoo, so it's a rinseable thing that leaves nothing behind, rather than like a wash and wax, which you might not want if you're prepping a car, for example. So first of all, I just want to go back to one point, because this is important. The A-Chem was often on sale for £12 for 33. Yeah, it's normally £33. Sometimes in their Black Friday sales, you could get like 5 litres of it for 12 quid, which is about a third of that price. So it dropped the cost per wash down roughly to the same as that when it's on sale. But people are telling me it's not often on sale nowadays. So it's at the normal retail prices, this product has the lowest cost per wash that I've ever seen for a pure shampoo, and it is a high concentrate. Let's just talk about the product performance. When you use this product at 50 ml in the bucket, 15 litres, you get a ridiculously thick, well, it's not the densest foam, but the amount of foam that's coming up in the bucket when you're filling it up with water is huge. It is a very, very, very foamy shampoo, but it's a light foam. The product rinses off the car with no problems. Even at its highest concentration, the 50 ml, I didn't have to go chasing all of the runoff areas and make sure I really spent the time to blast those runoff areas out. Sometimes if you over concentrate stuff, or the shampoo's too thick, it can just keep throwing shampoo out of those crevices. If you ever get that and you don't rinse it all out, you will get the little soap stains drying later on in the heat. But it seemed to rinse really well. Good on the free rinsing. No chalkiness to the formulation. Sometimes with certain automotive shampoos, you've got the sudsy stuff, but then you can sometimes see the water has a chalky white film to it, which can increase the risk of filming if that chalky white film dries. No, it was nice and pure and left no white film behind. In terms of slip and slide, this car shampoo is as slidey and as slippy as any of them, because realistically I can't really tell the difference in slidiness or slickness in any shampoo. They're all wet and they're soapy. It's like if you got 2 bars of soap and you tried to measure which one was the slippiest, you'd come to the conclusion they were both pretty slippy. Yeah, so this feels nice and slidey, the same as any automotive shampoo, and it has a really strong cherry scent. I have not encountered any problems using it, and my car is sitting here clean with no soap stains on it, and it's done a really good job, which is great. It's our aim to try and criticise these products, and I'm sitting here thinking, right, how am I going to criticise this one? How am I going to criticise this one? And I went through all the things that I could possibly criticise it on, and they're all pretty, they're not even really valid, but I'm clutching at straws. One of them is it's a very thick raw material. So some of you might not like that, but it's not that thick that it doesn't come out of the measuring thing, or it's difficult to pour. You know, it's not too bad, but it's just a bit gel-like. So I put that there as a question mark because it's not really a negative. Perhaps with high concentrations, if you just go chucking it in the bucket, you know, you don't measure out and dose out. With a high concentrate, your risk of overdosing is higher. So that's a negative, I guess, that I could put in there. Another negative is, well, could it just be cheap chemicals? There's a caustic kind of sign there on the thing. Could this just be using real cheap chemicals? I don't think it is. So the first thing is it doesn't have any sodium hydroxide in it or any of those really strong cleaners. It's a mild kind of thing. So it's got ethoxylated alcohols in it, sulfates, sodium salts, so lots of the surfactants are sodium salts, alco-amidopropyl betaine, which I think with betaine is like a foaming agent. It's got a lot of that in it because it foams really, really, really well. And yeah, perfume's 5%, very strong perfume, but there's nothing nasty in this. It's a mild, skin-safe, slidey, foamy thing that really is just there to provide some lubrication. They advise on the instructions, which we'll go through now, that you pre-wash your car first.
Pre-wash with a snow foam before shampooing to loosen the dirt. Pour your thing into a shampoo, into a bucket with a grit guard. Add water to generate foam. Use more product to counteract dirtier vehicles and hard water. Okay, fine. I wouldn't necessarily go beyond 50 ml in a bucket. It's really rich at that ratio. Use a wash mitt, you know, blah, blah, blah. Wash it top, bottom or whatever. Do not allow it to dry on the vehicle. Rinse it off. Rinse the dirty wash mitt in a clean bucket. So they're giving you some detailing advice here before cleaning the vehicle again. Yeah, rinse the vehicle off with a clean thing and then dry it with a microfiber towel. The instructions are pretty good. Let's just read their product blurb as well, what they say about this. So, Cherry Burst contains a powerful blend of detergents and special additives which rapidly lift oil and grease and road grime from the vehicle surfaces. So usually with a lifting effect, it usually means there's cationic surfactants in there that sort of, yeah, lift dirt from vehicle surfaces while leaving a long-lasting streak-free shine on the bodywork and windows. Yeah, it definitely did that. Specifically manufactured with hand car wash industry in mind, Cherry Burst offers enhanced cleaning performance with a minimum of effort, contains long-lasting cherry fragrance. Fine. So it satisfies me that it's not a nasty chemical. Sometimes when you open really cheap chemicals and they're loaded with sodium and different types of sodium-based kind of detergents, you can have that chalky white powder all around there and it's all crunchy, it stinks of fish and all that other stuff when it's got nasty stuff in it. No, it's just a mild detergent. What else could I criticise it on? Does it have enough cleaning power? It seemed to. My car wasn't particularly dirty, but with contact shampoos, none of them have that much cleaning power that I really noticed. They don't really. This is a contact wash only, you know, bucket wash only. There's no instructions or telling you can use it in a lance or anything like that. So it may not be the most powerful on the market, but I can't really tell. I can't really think of any negatives with this product, and I've forced myself to write them down just so I cover that territory in the video review. I think this A-Chem Cherry Burst shampoo just makes a hell of a lot of sense to me in a world that's going crazy. With car soaps, I cannot see any reason to be paying kind of like you know, pounds for your cost per wash when there's good quality products like this that cost £1.07 per wash. The thing with all of this is, John, which one of these 3 shampoos would you use? I'd use any of them. The problem is these shampoos give you so much value. When you buy them, they take an eternity to use. Like I bought a litre of the auto wash, and you use like 5 ml in every single wash, and it takes years to get through it. So I still haven't started using the car chem, and then that will take me like 2 lifetimes to get through if I'm still alive. It'd just be like a small brain in a pickle jar in 300 years' time. I might be able to instruct someone to use that and get through it, and then I would move on to that one and get through it. But if I didn't have any of these chemicals, I think the fact that I can always go and buy this for £8.63 makes it more valuable, you know, a better value than the car chem. And I never thought anyone would ever beat the car chem on price. And that does all the time. That's really affordable. Yeah, it's just a good chemical. And yeah, my concern with it was that it would be a low concentrate and it would be loaded with water. Now, so it foams up thick and it's sudsy and all that stuff at 50 ml. But this thing that also really surprised me is when I put 10 ml in, which is its most diluted, its highest concentration, or lowest, depending how, you know what I mean? It's its weakest concentration, that's the way to say it. It's still foamed up really well, and I'll show it to you on the test panel. I just wanted to see what the foaming level was like at 10 ml. Yeah, really good amount of suds that you would actually use that at 10 ml. So I would maybe 20 ml if you're living frivolously. So your cost per wash goes up from 1.7p to 3.4p. You're living life on the edge. That gets to the point where you're getting so much value out of that product, it becomes ridiculous, and that is good. We've shown you high end, we've shown you lots of shampoos from detailing brands and stuff like that. And I think it's also really important to show you the stuff that you won't beat the price on. Now, some of you will sometimes say in the comments like, well, I use this shampoo, or 25 litres of Auto Smart, or, 25 litres of Turtle Wax. You won't beat the cost per wash, because every time I've gone and sanity checked those other recommendations that might be cheaper on paper on the price, when then you factor in the concentration, the cost per wash is actually quite high because they're low concentrates. I'm just giving you examples of those two brands. I don't have the figures to hand for any specific products they sell, and they sell lots of products. The thing with this is it's a high concentrate, but the price is it's like a low concentrate price. How can they sell that for £8.63 for 5 litres? You can't normally get 500 ml of shampoo for £8.63. Phenomenal bargain. This is definitely for the guys that have been around the block, or it's even a chemical that professional detailers would just have 5 litres of, and they just go through it and they'd appreciate the cost per wash, and they'd appreciate the chemical as well. The only one caveat is today was a really good day for washing a car. It's a little bit cloudy. So I didn't get a chance to sort of like bake them on, but I wouldn't do that on this car anyway. But absolutely zero issues washing this car. It just did a really, really good job, and I was just impressed with the chemical. So that is the Cherry Burst car shampoo. It's tucked away. It's a little bit difficult to find, but I'll put a link for it in the description on the A-Chem site. I bought this because you guys in the comments were saying I needed to check out this one. So this was the one that I was looking for, concentrated citrus wash, which is I think, I don't have the figures, but I think it might be £12 plus VAT for a high concentrate citrus. So I wanted to check that out, and then I saw this one there as well for £7, and I thought, wow, I'm going to just buy some of that. That's so cheap. That's worth having a look at. That has really impressed me. Doing my due diligence on this, I've got some concerns with this product that it may not be what I'm looking for, unfortunately. And that is to do with my own personal preference about what I'm looking for in a citrus, and that's to do with limonene and non-caustic materials. And I possibly don't want this sodium hydroxide in there, even though you don't have to panic, because it'll be tiny amounts of it. It's something that's more industrial, and it's a very caustic, it's caustic soda, but it's a very caustic material that you can use small amounts of to add lots of punch and potency. The caustic element is useful in certain circumstances, but for me, when it's like trying to maintain the quality of your finish and less about deep cleaning and valeting cars that are really bad, then I tend to try and avoid sodium hydroxide, tetrasodium as well. Yeah, this is going to have a lot more bite. And what I want to know, and what I want from a citrus, is higher limonene content, and that's what I've got to try and research with this product, find out what's going on with the limonene levels. It's hard to say at the moment. I've just dunked my finger in it, just had a quick look at it, and I'm not sure how limonene it is, and I think it's more surfactanty with like, dressed up as a citrus. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see how it performs, because a limonene-based product with lots of limonene in it has this oily quality to it. And limonene dissolves things which can't always be emulsified, like tar. So putting a tar film out on a white panel is a good way of separating citrus products from, good citrus products with lots of limonene in, to citrus products that are rich in surfactants and maybe little bits of caustic material that are more degreasers and a bit more industrial. They tend to work well on grease, but they don't tend to work well on tar. A true citrus works well on tar, in my opinion. So I'm going to be testing that out, putting this one through its paces, and maybe it can do well. But either way, if it isn't quite what I want as a citrus, it's still an incredibly affordable
degreaser that I'll get through, or pre-wash degreaser, whatever, you know, that is probably going to be useful. So there we go. We'll stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see our review on that concentrated citrus wash. But this first look at this Cherry Burst shampoo really impressed me. You're never going to get near that on price. You're going to have to go to another manufacturer and kind of look, you know. We've already looked at some of those manufacturers. We looked at the A-Chem, we've looked at Bonnyman's before on the channel. Bonnyman's might get close to it, but I don't know if they have that high concentrate stuff. So I don't think Bonnyman's will be cheaper. I think that is probably the most affordable shampoo that you will ever be able to buy. And on top of it being affordable, to me, it seems like it's quite high quality. Very good. There is one other caveat, that the corrosive side of it. Do I want to pay a little bit more? So the Built Amber isn't as foamy and as rich, and you know, it doesn't smell of anything. It's completely, you know, it doesn't foam up that much. But they have pedigree in derusting and corrosion inhibiting. And that's a bit of a question mark for me over this one. Could there be benefits that are too difficult to pick up on in a review, that you'd almost have to be a chemist with a lab to maybe do some corrosion tests on steel, with, you know, put the materials, submerge a bit of steel in each of these shampoos, which actually we did that years ago. All the American ones lit up like a Christmas tree with rust. So could the Built Amber one like inhibit corrosion better? That is something that goes through my mind, because like all in the arches there where you get exposed metal and stuff, where you can start getting corrosion. With older cars, sometimes that corrosion inhibition becomes good. So for me, I'm more bought into Built Amber as a brand than I am these guys. This is the first thing I've used from them, I think. So that plays in my mind. And the cost difference is getting to the point where it's negligible. And I'm probably down to 200 mil or 250 mil, but that's another 100 washes. It's all just getting to the point where it's so affordable that it's all just good. But I've said why I think that A-Chem one is definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out. There's no one there that's not going to like that. So there we go. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned, and we will cover the citrus in another video another week. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when